Today on Meet Your Body, we're talking about how to find motivation to work out. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Jessica Valant, a physical therapist and Pilates teacher, and I want to bring science-based knowledge, empathy, courage, support, love, and hopefully some fun to the journeys we have with our bodies. There is hope and strength in your body, and my goal is to help you find it. Hi, and thanks so much for being here today. I am so excited to talk to you. As always, it's just one of my favorite things to put on my headphones and grab this microphone and have a chat with you. And first thing you'll notice is, yes, I'm a little bit congested. I think I'm on the tail end of it. I have a 5-year-old who brings home preschool germs and tends to cough and sneeze directly into my face. So it's hard for me to avoid those germs sometimes. We've been really lucky this school year and this season of not having too much sickness. And here at the tail end, as the seasons are changing and some of the allergies are out, I caught a little bit of a cold from him. But like I said, I'm on the tail end. And thanks for being here and hanging out with me. I have my coffee. It's a gray and rainy day. It's the perfect time to chat. And we are talking today about how to feel motivated to work out. Now, this is one of the most common questions I get. I get this question all the time. And I will be completely honest, I don't talk about it very much. And there's a reason for that. The reason is I feel that the current state of social media and marketing and health and wellness pounds this idea that we need to feel motivated all the time. And if we don't, we feel ashamed. And I really don't like that concept at all. It is like nails on a chalkboard to me. It really bothers me. The idea that we are telling people, if you don't feel motivated, it's your fault. You need to just get past it. You're doing something wrong. And then we leave people behind. So I don't tend to talk about it because I don't ever want people to feel that. I never want you to feel that you simply need more motivation and that would solve the problem of exercise. Because as you'll hear today, there are so many facets to this idea of wanting to exercise, wanting to move, feeling motivated, feeling enthusiastic, those kind of things. So we're going to talk about all the facets around it. And I also realize my not talking about it maybe has done a disservice for you because it is a need, and I do understand that too. It is a true need and a question so many of us have. So what I want to do today is really come at this topic from a place of compassion and empathy and science and knowledge and giving you real tips on how to actually feel more motivated while motivating you at the same time. So many people talk about how to get motivated in exercise, but it ends up discouraging you because you feel like you should just be better. And that's not the way it should be. I want you to feel motivated and excited about being motivated to exercise and move. So that's what this podcast today is going to be about how to actually feel more motivated and some real actionable tips and tricks for that. So let's dive in. So first, I really want and need you to know that you are not failing if you don't feel motivated to work out. And again, this piggybacks on what I kind of just talked about in social media marketing and health and wellness industries right now and magazines and all of that. It looks like everybody on those magazines and in social media, all teachers, all movement instructors love to exercise, and that if you don't love it, that you're doing something wrong. And I don't think that's true. So first, as we go into this today, I really want you to let go of that idea that there's something wrong with you if you aren't motivated, or there's something wrong with you if you don't love it. There could be 1,000 reasons that you don't feel motivated to move and work out, okay? These could include something like you just haven't found something you like yet. I mean, that's a big one. Think about any other area in life. If we don't like something, it's hard to be motivated to do it. So it's possible that you just haven't found a movement modality that you like. You could have pain or injuries. This is a big one. And as a physical therapist, I see it all the time. You need to honor that. If you have been through any kind of pain, if you have pain right now, if you have an injury, if you've ever done a movement that has flared an injury, and I just saw a client yesterday who has an old back injury 10 years ago. She managed it. She's been doing great. And then she had a twinge again recently. And now she's stopped moving because she's so afraid of making it worse again. That is a very understandable, real fear. Okay. So that might be holding you back. You may have a nervous system that is overloaded, meaning you are in constant fight or flight. You're in burnout. You're in constant chronic stress. Those kind of things make it hard to feel motivated to do anything other than just kind of survive in that status quo place. So that's a real reason that you might be held back, or you might be not be motivated to move. You might have chronic fatigue for any reason, or you might simply be tired and not have the energy to do it. And you might have a poor experience with exercise in the past. That's a really big one. If you have experienced any kind of othering or belittling, if you've ever felt ashamed or embarrassed or discouraged, if you've had a teacher who hasn't seen you or listened to your needs, if you have experienced an injury during a class, anything like that, if you have any kind of poor experience with exercise in the past, that will definitely have an effect on your kind of motivation to move and to exercise. And our marketing nowadays on social media and in magazines and all over the place, Facebook ads, they're going to tell us that we just need to push through, right? There's always this idea of just pushing harder. And I see commonly this idea of don't make excuses. Any reason you have not to move is just an excuse. And you're lazy if you don't do it. And you guys, that marketing just makes me so angry. It is coming from a place of someone who's not compassionate, who doesn't have any empathy, who's probably never been through any kind of issues or problems before. And that might work for some people. It really might. There might be some personalities that kind of tough love or whatever you want to call it might help. But for most of us, it doesn't. For most of us, it's just going to cause more defeat, right? It doesn't make you want to move or work out if you're being told that any reason you're not is an excuse. If you're being told that your chronic pain or injury is just an excuse and just push through it, that's probably not helpful to you. So again, all of this to say, as we dive into the next kind of phase we're going to talk about, which is actually how to maybe find some motivation. As we dive into that, I want you just to remember that you don't have to listen to that kind of marketing, okay? You don't have to really embrace this idea of no excuses, push through. If that doesn't work for you, if it doesn't actually cause you to feel motivated, let it go, right? Honor where you are and what's going on with you. So you honor it first. We're going to stand in what we are and the truth of what's happening in our life because we are all different. So stand in that, recognize it, and then find the things that are going to help encourage you to move forward and find that motivation. So as we get into these tips, we are leaving the guilt behind. We are leaving any shame behind. We're leaving any defeat and discouragement behind. And we are now stepping forward with some excitement. Like even if you don't feel motivated yet, I want you to start to feel a little bit of hope that you will feel motivated. I want you to feel encouraged that you will find that motivation. So that's where we are now. Let's step forward in that hope and that encouragement. And the first piece to that is digging in and looking at what might be holding you back from starting. All right. So those reasons that I listed above, things such as pain, disease, injury, trauma, shame, maybe your schedule. Maybe you are truly so busy that it's your schedule that holds you back. Maybe it's an autoimmune disease. Maybe it's taking care of an elder in your life. Maybe it's complete stress and burnout that you can't think of anything else other than just putting one foot in front of the other. Whatever it is, I want you to look at that in your own life and just pinpoint it. Okay, that's it to start with. So take a moment right now. Really think about what might be holding you back from feeling motivated. And it's not a big picture thing. It's really very logical and very true. What is happening in your life right now that you feel might be holding you back, that stresses you out when you think about movement? So even if you come to this podcast, or if you work with me, or you work with someone else, or you read something and you say, oh my gosh, I know I need to be working out. And if you feel that anxiety around that, like, oh, I know I should be doing that, but I just can't. What is it when you take the next step down? What is it that actually feels like I can't do that? And again, it might be your schedule. You might just feel so busy that the idea of adding one more thing just takes that stress level to the next place. Maybe, like I mentioned, it's a trauma in the past, either some kind of physical trauma or an injury, or maybe it's an emotional trauma from not being seen and accepted in an exercise class. It could be anything. It could be going back 20 years. Whatever it is, really pinpoint that, because that is the part that you need to solve and figure out. It's not the part of how do I just find motivation? How do I find more motivation? It's how do I work around this issue that's actually maybe keeping me from moving, my schedule, an injury, whatever it may be. And how do I work through that problem? Okay, so if it's an injury or pain that's holding you back, and I'll use this client as an example because it was a perfect example. She had an old back injury from 10 years ago. She had managed it. She was doing great. She had gotten into a regular workout routine. She was feeling so good and empowered. And then this back injury happened again, or it just was re-injured, and she found herself becoming very afraid to move. She was afraid of making it worse. She didn't know what she could do. She didn't know what she couldn't do, and she found herself falling into that pattern. She had that inner motivation. She wanted to move, but she wasn't doing it because she didn't know how. She didn't know what to do, and she found herself falling into that place, that habit of just not moving. So she set up a virtual consult with me. We talked through it. We looked at safe movement. I gave her a 2-month workout plan that would be safe for what she has going on. She can check in with me periodically. She had her questions answered. So she looked at what was keeping her from moving, which was needing to know how to move safely. And she solved that problem. She saw me, someone who's in healthcare and in fitness, to help develop a safe plan. So that might be something that you do. If you have an injury, if you have pain, see a healthcare professional, see a physical therapist, take that first step, maybe see a pelvic floor physical therapist. If you've had surgery recently, I talk to people who had hysterectomy a year or 2 ago and they're still afraid to move. I say, absolutely, you need to be moving. Here's how to do it safely. So solve that problem. If it's your schedule, and I'm not saying this really flippantly either. I'm not saying, oh, it's just easy to solve. I know it can take time and you really have to figure it out, and you do have to dedicate some energy and time to it. But it has to be done first in order for you to have any hope of being motivated to work out. You can't just say, I'm going to ignore this injury and then hope to love moving, because that fear will always be there. You have to deal with that first. If it's your schedule, sit down one day and really look at where you might have time. And I'm not saying that you have to find all this extra time. That can be really hard. I know it can be so hard. But just look at your schedule and say, okay, I actually have 10 minutes in the morning I could do something. Or for me, I would always take my lunchtime at work when I worked in an office and worked with patients. I always took my lunchtime to go on a walk or do something, or there was a gym in my office. I almost always used that because that was the time I had that I was already sitting there. And so look at what the issue is, what might be holding you back or keeping you from feeling motivated, and make an action item step to find some way, that first step to dealing with that. Because honestly, that has to be done first for you to feel motivated. So instead of always beating yourself up for how do I just feel more motivated, instead look at it more logically as, what is keeping me from feeling motivated? Oh, it's this issue. And how can I actually then do a couple things around that issue to open up the space in order to feel motivated? The next step is finding your why. Your why to why you are actually moving your body or wanting to have a regular movement or exercise plan. And I mean your deeper why. This is your long-term why. This is important because it is what you will fall back on the days that you don't want to move, which there will be some. There absolutely will be some days that you just may not want to move or exercise. There might be seasons of life that happens. So you need to have a deeper why. And when I say deeper why, I mean a lot of people come to me and say, I want to lose a certain amount of weight by this date, right? A lot of us have that. We have those goals. Like I have a wedding I'm going to be in. I have something going on. So in 8 weeks, I want to fit into this dress. And that is not a bad goal. Absolutely. If that's your goal, that's awesome. But what happens with those short-term goals is we will have that short-term energy and we'll reach it. And then afterwards, we kind of fall back into our old habits and plans. We need more of a long-term why that we can always fall back on and remember, that's why I'm doing this. So for me, one of my biggest long-term whys comes from taking care of my mother-in-law with Alzheimer's over the past 4 years. She was wheelchair bound. And my bigger, deeper why a lot of times is I want to do everything I can to prevent that happening. What can I do now to keep myself as independent and strong as I can for as long as I can? That is one of my deeper whys. Another one is to help my body continue to recover from the surgeries that I've had, both for endometriosis and for my prolapse repairs. I've gone through multiple major surgeries, and I don't ever want to feel like that was in vain. I want to continue to honor this body and what it has been through by keeping it strong to help prevent those things happening again. So on the days that I might not want to move, I remember that. I think of it always as making deposits into my health bank account. There are some days that those deposits feel big and exciting and awesome and what a great workout and I loved it. And there are times that I'm just checking a box that I think, I just need to do this today. Those are the times that I'm just depositing those $5 knowing that they are going to pay dividends later on at some point. Maybe not today. Maybe I don't feel anything today, except a little bit of energy. Great. But I know it's going to help later on. So that's what I mean by a deeper why. Something you want to be able to get on and off the floor by yourself. You want to be able to play with your grandkids. You want to be able to travel. I talked to someone recently that was her main thing. She recently retired with her husband and their main goals are travel. So she wants to be able to walk and hike and on and off planes and all of that deeper thing, that deeper why. So that's important to know because that really is what is going to carry you through on the days that you might not feel motivated. So discover what your deeper why is. Next, you want to find a plan. This is important because our choices and options now in this day and age are so vast, and that's great. That is so exciting that you can find so many different things for your needs. You can go on YouTube and find millions of workout videos. You can go drive down the street and see 6 different exercise boutique studios within a block. There are so many options that we have now. And you probably have friends who are always throwing them at you, right? Like, I tried this, you should do this. Buy this 10-week plan, buy this 6-week plan. Get this. And a lot of them are great. But let me tell you what happens scientifically with our brain. When we have too many choices, we don't make any choice. Our brains get overwhelmed and we won't choose anything. So if you have hundreds of things to choose from, instead of actually being able to prioritize and be like, I'm going to pick these 3, our brain actually will shut down and not choose any. Instead, you find a plan that is actually very minimal, very focused, and you stick with that plan for a certain amount of time until it becomes habit, until it becomes automatic, and until your body feels safe doing it. Then you pick the next thing. It's like your options open up. That's how I explain it to my clients. I start with them in a box. I want that. When we have a really specific goal or we're starting brand new movement habits, I'm going to start you with a really specific set of instructions within a specific boundary. And I'm going to say, this is what you choose from. Don't even worry about choosing anything else. Don't even worry about looking up any other workouts. Don't worry about it. This is where we're starting. And you're going to do that for 1, 2, 3 months, whatever our plan is. Then after that, my goal is to open up the box a little bigger. All right, now you can choose from these 20 workouts because you know better what works for you, what you like, what feels good, those kind of things, so that eventually, yes, you can choose from anything out there. If you have a friend who invites you to a new Zumba class, you can feel safe trying that. If you travel and your family wants to try a new hike, you're like, yes, I feel safe trying that because you started with a plan and with a foundation. So it's really important to do that. And there's many different ways to do that. You can do that again by seeing a physical therapist or a healthcare professional to give you a plan. You can find different plans out there, either like in an in-person studio. You can do it online. And honestly, it's one of the biggest reasons that I developed my unlimited program and the reason we have a monthly workout calendar every single month. And in addition to that monthly workout calendar, I have a 4-week beginner workout program and I have a prolapse safe workout program. I really believe in having a plan to follow that is progressive, that builds a foundation that then you can add on as you choose to. So I will have links to Unlimited below because that is an option as well. If you're just not sure where to start, that can be a great place. But just think of it as having a plan and make it in that 4 to 8 to 12 week range. Anywhere from 1 to 3 months is a great place for the beginning plan to be. And then you can reassess after that amount of time and move on to the next part of the plan. All right, step number 4 in finding motivation to work out is consistency. It is not a sexy thing whatsoever, but it is probably one of the most important pieces to seeing results. And that's why it's important for motivation to be consistent. Because what happens when you're not consistent is you will start something. Let's say you do it for a week. Let's say you do it for 10 days, even a couple days, you're consistent, and then you stop. And then 2 weeks later, you say, I need to start that again. I have to be consistent. So you start again, and it's hard again. You're starting as a beginner again. So each time you stop and start, you're starting as a beginner again, which means you have to go through the hard things of being a beginner. And that decreases our motivation. None of us want to start over again and again and again. Of course, we're going to feel defeated when we do that. But when you are consistent and you really get into it, you are doing a lot of good things for yourself. One is you're simply creating a habit. Okay, you are telling your body, hey, we move for 10 minutes every day. Like that's what we do. It's part of our life. It's non-negotiable. We don't question it. That's what we do. You tell your body that. So it gets used to expecting that. Number 2, it decreases the barrier to entry. What I just mentioned, it takes away that difficulty that we experience every time we start something new, which, makes us tired. It can feel discouraging, all of those kind of things. By not having to start over every 2 weeks, you're taking away that barrier to entry. Number 3, you don't have to think about it. So when you're consistent, you don't always have to use that extra brain power to get started, to think about what to do. It's already a part of your habit. And the 4th part of consistency is it makes your body feel safe. And I am going to continue to talk about that point. And if you're wondering what I mean by that, I have an entire previous podcast episode about the importance of feeling safe in your body. But it's really important that your body starts to feel like a safe place and that movement feels safe. And it's only through consistency and repetition that that can happen. So if you're always starting and stopping, then you always have to get over that first hump, which truly is the hardest. So just keep going with consistency. I would much rather see someone moving 10 minutes every single day than doing an hour once a week. Okay, so that idea of consistency is actually more important. I see greater results in people who are just doing even 10 or 15 minutes a day, but making it every day versus doing nothing. And then one time every weekend, you'd go all out for an hour. You're going to see better results and you're going to see more motivation actually. And you'll see You reach your goals quicker if you have that consistency of even, like I said, 10 to 15 minutes a day. Start with that. Don't make the goal crazy. You don't have to do an hour every day, but whatever it is, it needs to be consistent. All right, number 5, change your expectations and or goals and avoid anything unrealistic, because that's another thing that's really going to hold us back or make us lose motivation. If we get into those programs that promise us 10 days to a flat belly, which I just have so many bad things to say about those programs because they don't work. But what they do is they make us think that they do work. They make us think that everybody out there is getting those results, so that when we don't, we feel defeated and we feel that we did something wrong. So we have unrealistic goals about whatever it is. Like I said, that flat belly one is a big one, or bikini body, that's a big one. So we have these unrealistic goals. So when we don't meet them, we feel defeated. We feel that we did something wrong. We lose our motivation because we think, well, I tried and it didn't even work, so why try again? Change your expectations and your goals. If you can, really think about what the deeper importance is. And again, go back to that deeper why if you need to. But I find when you think about your goals as, I want to feel more energy, I want to feel more motivated, period. Maybe that's your goal to start. I just want to feel more motivated to work out. I want to be able to get on and off the toilet without pain. I want to be able to walk up and down the stairs without pain. Start with those goals. Start with those kind of expectations. One, because it's really exciting when we meet those. We get a big boost of confidence of, wow, look at what I can do. It's empowering. It's very internal, very, very empowering to reach those goals. But two, they're realistic. That tends to come first. Those non-scale victories that we talk so much about here in Unlimited and in Jessica Valant Pilates, that I believe so much in, those tend to come first. And again, they're more attached to our deeper why. So think about those as being your goals. And then if you have aesthetic goals, weight loss goals, that is great if that works for you. But just remember that tends to come later on, again, with consistency, and make them realistic. Don't hang your hat on those programs that, again, say 10 days to this or 2 weeks to this. It doesn't happen that way. So set your goals as realistic and absolutely believe that you will reach them. And you will be more motivated when those goals are attached to your deeper why, and when you really start to see that your actions have helped you reach those goals. All right, number 6 to feeling motivated to work out is to make it as easy as possible, whatever that means for you. It might mean laying out your clothes the night before so you don't have to make choices in the morning. It might mean not driving 30 minutes each way to a class. That was a big one for me. Especially when I had our daughter, our first child, I lost the ability and the luxury of having time to do whatever I wanted. That is actually where Unlimited came from, the very first inkling, because I had to suddenly work out at home in 30 minutes while she was napping, and I had to make it as effective as me driving to a class or driving to the gym. That was a way that I could make it easy. So when I say make it easy, I mean make it doable. Lower the barrier to entry as much as you can. So it might mean the drive. It might mean trying to do it around your work schedule. I have members in Unlimited who have a mat and a couple dumbbells in their office. And every day at lunch or during a break, they close their office door and they pull the blinds and they do something on their office floor. I mean, that's amazing to me. And they have found a way to make it work. So whatever it is, lower the barrier of entry for yourself and make it easy. That might even mean just doing it in your pajamas in the morning before you even change clothes. It might mean doing it while your kids are crawling all over you. That's the way it was for me for 2 years. My kids were always crawling all over me. So don't let things hold you back in that way. Just find the lowest barrier to entry for you to get started. Next, make it motivating for you. We are all different, and think about what motivates you. One of my little tips, or one of my tricks that I use, there's a podcast that I absolutely love that makes me laugh really hard, and new episodes come out every Monday. Monday is the workout that I am most excited for. It is my workout where I go to the gym, I get uninterrupted time at the gym, and I put my headphones in and I listen to that new episode, and I get so excited. Like, I don't want anything to get in the way of that Monday workout. It's fun for me. I laugh, like I said, it's time to myself. It's some time I have at the gym to experiment and have fun and do new things. And so that actually is just a little thing that I use to motivate myself. Find things like that. It might be music. It might be podcasts. It might be that someone has gifted you an awesome yoga mat that's really exciting for you to get on because it calms your body and spirit. It might be versus being outside versus being inside. You might love the group class environment. You might love the individual doing it on your own environment. Again, this is about what motivates you, not someone else telling you what it should or shouldn't look like. There is no perfect picture to movement and exercise out there. And maybe this is the time to jump in and talk about that. There's no perfect outfit. There's no perfect hairstyle. There's no perfect music or shoes or eating before or eating after or time of day or clean clothes. There's no perfect anything. It is what works for you and your life. And there will be times that feels really easy, that you have space to do it, that you have time to do it. And there will be times it does not. There will be times it feels like work. There will be times it feels very chaotic. And you have to make it work for you in your life. So decide what kind of even little things you can do to motivate yourself. And again, just decide that it's right for you. It doesn't have to be right for anyone else. It just has to be right and motivating for you. And we have one final tip left when it comes to feeling motivated to work out. But I want to go back and review everything we've talked about so far because I know we've covered a lot. So number one was decide what's holding you back. Like really pinpoint it. We're going to be really logistical here. You're going to just look at the facts, okay? Remove any emotion around it. Look at the facts and decide what it is that might be keeping you from feeling motivated. The real facts around this. Do you have pain? Do you have an injury? Are you tired? Do you have a narrative you've told yourself in the past about not being worth it? Do you think you need to look a certain way before you get started? Is your schedule really busy? Look at that from a really, like I said, realistic standpoint, pinpoint it, and say, what can I do about that? Because that alone will be the first step towards you starting to feel more motivated. Number two, find your why, and I mean that deeper why. What is that deeper why for you? That at the end of the day, you'll be glad you moved because it takes you one step closer to that why of why you want to do it. Number three, make a plan. Find a specific plan, make a plan at least for the first 1 and 2 months. Number four, be consistent. And the reason is it will make it easier. You will feel more motivated when you're consistent because you'll never have to go back and cross that beginner hump over and over and over again. Find consistency, which will make you feel more motivated because it creates ease in your movement. Number five, make your expectations and your goals realistic so that you can reach them and that you can feel that excitement over reaching your goals. Number six, make it easy in that you're removing barriers to entry. You're going to set out your clothes the night before. You're not going to drive. If that's whatever it is for you. Make it so that there's the lowest barrier of entry so that it feels a little more easy to get started. Number seven, make it motivating for you. Again, music, whatever it is for you. Pick the little things that will be motivating for you. And then the very last tip is maybe the least exciting one, but one of the truest. Sometimes you just have to do it. Sometimes it won't always be motivating. Sometimes it won't always be fun. Sometimes you just have to lace up your shoes or roll out your mat and do it because you know you are making that investment into your own health bank account. And be okay with that. Know that it's okay. Not every workout has to be the best or the most fun workout in the world. Not every workout's going to feel shiny and joyful and like all these bright colors and people running through fields of flowers. It's not always going to feel like that. Sometimes it feels like slogging through mud a little bit. But the way I look at it is, again, I'm putting that investment into my bank account, one. Number two, it's needed to have those days sometimes. So each time I get through one, I think, great, I've checked that box. My next workout's probably going to be easier because I got through the really hard one. And then I always know that I will sleep better at night knowing that I did it. I won't go to sleep thinking, that was the best workout ever, or that was the worst workout ever. I won't remember those things, but I'll go to sleep knowing I moved my body today. I gave myself a little bit of time. I moved my body. Awesome. I'm proud of myself for doing that. And sometimes that alone is the reason that I do lace up those shoes and get out and do something, is because I know that later on I will be glad that I did it. Feeling motivated to work out is a very personal journey, and it really is dependent on you as an individual. And it might even feel like it takes a little bit of work to get there, and I think that's okay. It is absolutely okay to do the work you need to do to feel motivated for the movement you want and need, to create that habit so that you feel joyful in movement. That's what I want for you. I want you to feel that safety in your body. I want you to feel like that body is a partner of yours through this life, because it is. And I want you to find some joy and strength in it again. I don't want anything to hold you back from what is possible for you. So let go of any of that pressure or discouragement or defeat and move forward with hope, with optimism. Move forward knowing I can do this thing. And the motivation is a spectrum. Sometimes you'll have a lot, some days you'll have a little. But when you develop the habits and consistency, it simply won't be a question of whether you do it or not, because it will already be built into this life that you have made. I hope those tips help. As always, feel free to reach out with questions. Check out Unlimited for a little bit of guidance. I'll have all of those links below, and I'm so happy to have you here. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for joining me today on Meet Your Body. If you have a moment, please consider rating and reviewing this podcast, as it helps us tremendously. For more resources and workouts, you can visit my website, jessicavalantpilates.com, or find me on YouTube or Instagram at Jessica Valant Pilates.